Welcome to Covered in Pet Hair, a boozy show for pet lovers on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arrada, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with a dog food expert and published author who's going to teach us about the Cocomega effect. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arrada, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with a pet parent, a published author. He's an inventor, a researcher, and entrepreneur. He's a road tripper, a foodie, a wine snob, and a coffee lover. He's a world traveler who's originally from Vegas and just moved to Austin, Texas. He's husband to Anna, dog dad to Sherlock, one of the founders of Yumwoof, food for dogs that is high-end and wonderful, highly recommend. And he's the author of the new book called The Cocomega Effect. He's Jaron Lukas. Welcome, Jaron. It's so good to have you on the show again.
Thank you. I guess we can end the interview now because I think you described pretty much everything about me.
Yes, we're done. I don't want to catch up with you. I didn't invite you because I'm super intrigued about your book. We're done. Well, before we get into all the reasons why I did invite you back, let me introduce our drinking game today. So anybody participating in our drinking game, anytime you hear this word, make sure you take a drink of whatever you're enjoying. It could be alcoholic, it could be non-alcoholic. It's just for fun. But if you are having an alcoholic beverage, make sure that you are not driving, that you're drinking responsibly, and that you're of age wherever you're joining us from. So what are you having in Austin, Texas today, Jaron?
Well, I'm having a local beverage today. We're having some liquid death water. So, it's Tuesday as we're recording this, just keeping it easy. Got a long weekend ahead of me, going to this regenerative agriculture fundraiser. And so, I'm just trying to kind of prepare myself with lack of alcohol before that. Hydrating. So
I'm hydrating.
That's right.
Now that you are, and by the way, that liquid death, I've never had it. My husband buys it a lot. Like, what's so special about this liquid death water?
You know what I love about them? Because the water itself is, I don't think it's like particularly that great or anything, but I do love their sustainability mission. And I happen to have a friend who works for them. So she's kind of gotten me into the brand. I love the fact that they're super pro sustainability in these aluminum cans. And, I think it's like interesting what they've done with the brand. I originally hated it, I'll be honest, because it's like, it looks like it's from a gas station.
Yeah.
And I specifically bought a Tesla. Half of the reason was to like never have to go to a gas station again. So I originally didn't so much vibe with it, but what can I say? It grew on me. But really funny, there's a guy named Martin on, he goes by being the water sommelier. He's gotten really popular on TikTok, and Martin Reese or something like that. Anyway, if you just search for Martin, he'll probably come up. And so I've been joking with friends because he begins every video with like, "I'm Martin, your water sommelier." I have terrible German accent there, but I was like, dude, this guy, what is he even talking about? And so I've just been like kind of messing with my friends, telling them that I now have a water sommelier. But I actually have been getting really big into like figuring out like different types of spring water and stuff like that. So next time I'm on here, I'll either have a natural wine or I'll have like some really bougie water.
Ooh, bougie water. So I am kind of bougie about water too. We have a reverse osmosis system for our drinking water.
Heck yeah.
But I am boozy. So today I'm having something inspired by your book. This is a pineapple coconut caipirinha that I made.
That's amazing.
It is beautiful and it is just as tasty as it looks. So I just want to propose a toast to you for being back on the show. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, you were saying it's been 2 years exactly. So I can't believe it's been that long. A lot's happened at Yumwoof since then. And, as you mentioned, I recently launched a book, The Canine Cocomega Effect. And that's actually one of the things. I'm so glad that you made that drink. That is perfect. And I recommend everyone just, mix a little bit of coconut oil with maybe some cod liver oil, try to create a drink out of that at home and, see what happens.
That sounds like a disgusting drink, but maybe if we put a little, I don't know, olive juice in there, it'll work.
The most important thing is it's good for you, and you should definitely film a TikTok and upload it, #Cocomega.
That is a great idea. I love that so much. Well, last time you were here, we played a game called Eat, Toss, Feed. So I want to check in and see if any of your answers have changed since we played that game last time. And I've added a couple of new questions so that we can, of course, keep it fresh. So are you ready to play?
Let's do this.
All right, let's do it. All right. Remember, for those who have not watched our show 2 years ago, it's episode 23 on Pet Life Radio. And I'll also put a link here so you can catch up if you want to go back and then move forward before you watch this episode, because Jaron broke down the pet food industry in such a great way. And I'm going to ask him about whether anything he said that back then has changed, but I have a feeling it has not. So definitely catch up with that interview. And here we go. The first one is chicken, steak, bacon. Which one are you eating? Which one are you feeding to Sherlock, your dog? And which one are you throwing in the bin?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm actually making a grass-fed steak tonight, so I'm eating steak. Sherlock, lately I've been covering his food with a little bit of bacon occasionally. So Sherlock gets bacon, and whatever the third one was that chicken?
Chicken.
Yeah, chicken. Oh man, I have such a love-hate relationship with chicken, but it does lean on the hate, so that's got to go in the trash bin.
I don't know if you remember, but you tossed chicken last year too, but you actually had the bacon because you were keto back then, or 2 years ago, and you gave the steak to Sherlock, so things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, I guess Sherlock and I have had a big reversal, and who knows, in next time I'm on, maybe it'll reverse again. I don't think I'll be going back to chicken though. I have been adding more. I'm starting to recognize the benefits of chicken, I guess.
Well, you're in Texas now, so I have a feeling you're going to be having chicken and waffles and stuff like that, and brunches. Fried chicken.
Only if it's not breaded. I'm still pretty good. I still stay pretty low carb, try to keep it pretty paleo. I am, I would say like definitely splurging a little bit more than when I was on keto. Like keto is so strict. It's like exactly. 20, you can't even have friends on keto, to be honest. I do love keto. Like I think everyone should do it. For like 6 months or something, and just like start counting your carbs and understand how your body works.
How about this question? Let's say that are the choices: Beyond Burger, Portobello Burger, Black Bean Burger. Which one are you eating? Which one are you feeding to Sherlock? And which one are you tossing in the trash?
Oh man, those all sound absolutely awful. I'm gonna toss all three in the trash.
Last time you gave the Portobello to Sherlock, you had the Black Bean Burger and were worried about the after effects of your intestines. And then you threw the Beyond Burger in the trash. So this time we're just throwing all of them in the trash. I mean, I think that's really fair.
Yeah, I got to give myself credit last time. I will say I agree with my general ordering, and the ordering is still relatively the same, but I think my standards have gone up in life, and I'm just not willing to have subpar burgers. Like give me the meat.
Yeah, I agree. So when we spoke last, I was not eating meat. Now I eat meat. I've had...
Were you vegan before?
I was vegetarian.
Okay.
And I had been vegan. I had my second child, who's the biggest carnivore. And while I was breastfeeding her, all I did was crave meat, and it was the craziest thing. And her favorite thing to eat is turkey sandwiches. And you know what made me like eat meat all the time was turkey sandwiches, because I could literally feel like she needed turkey. I don't know what it is. My body knew what my baby needed when I was breastfeeding her. And it was like the gateway drug to like other meats. And now I'm trying to cut back. The only thing I'm really trying to avoid is pork. I really don't want to eat pork. Pigs are so similar to dogs. It breaks my heart to even think about it. And just the way that pork agriculture is really horrible, especially, your mainstream stuff. So I don't really want poor little piglets like slaughtered for me to like eat something. So I'm trying to be more ethical about my eating now. But I still eat meat, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing to come to terms with the reality that we live in a universe where like everything eats each other.
Yeah.
I deal with it too. I guess I've come to some sort of peace with it, but I definitely understand that sentiment. But the funny thing is over the last year and a half, all of my vegan friends have now started eating meat.
It's the pandemic, man. We were tired of eating lentils. Speaking of lentils, my next one is lentils, sweet potatoes, and beets. Which one are you eating? Which one are you feeding? Which one are you tossing?
Okay, well, I hate lentils. So those are, I'm just going to give those to my wife because she loves them. So
me too. It must be a Latino thing because your wife is Latina, right? Yes, it's a Latina thing. We grow up eating them.
I forget. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes.
Oh, perfecto. Podemos hacer otro episodio en español.
Muy bien. Wow. Estoy impresionada. Qué bien.
Yeah, for all of those of you out there who don't speak Spanish yet, though, like keep practicing because we're going to do another episode in
You're
Spanish.
making my husband look really bad because he's been practicing, but he cannot pull off what you just said. He said we're going to have to do another episode in Spanish since he's been practicing, and he did it really, really well. All right, so
I have a few podcasts he can start watching.
Really? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, that's a really good idea. Send those over. And it said I'll post them in the show notes so that people can also find out what you're talking about. Because I think a lot of people are trying to learn another language these days. So
yeah,
definitely
Duolingo is definitely helping a lot of people right now.
I think so too. And it's fun. They make it fun. All right. So you threw away the lentils or you gave them to Anna. What are you doing with the sweet potatoes and the beets?
I do just want to clarify that giving things to my wife is not the same as throwing away, just in case she watches this later, like not the same, but we are giving them to Anna. And sweet potatoes I'm eating. Like I've really, actually the only thing, so what kind of ended up leading me to start a dog food company was I have had all these skin issues since I was in my late teens. And I realized that after 12 years of like ointments and steroids and all this crap that doctors will give you, and not a single one ever recommended that maybe you should try a food elimination diet. Maybe you have food allergies. So I finally, started listening to some people who recommended this, and I tried this food elimination diet. Turns out I had food allergies. Don't eat certain foods, skin issues go away. Now that's like a whole other question of like how basically I'm allergic to Mexican food. So,
spicy food, right? All the spicy stuff.
All the spicy, unfortunately, eggs, nuts, seeds. It's like, yeah, it's definitely tough. Like breakfast mole.
I'm allergic to eggs too. But
sucks,
I'll still
man.
eat them. I still eat them. I really should stop.
I'll tell you, I had to stop eggs. I still eat a lot of things I shouldn't because yum, but it's a balance. Right. And eggs are one that just like really make my skin blow up. And it's kind of part of my life mission to ultimately I want to solve food allergies. That's like a big long-term goal I have. And I hope for us that I can hopefully solve us being able to eat eggs again. That's a goal.
Well, I think a lot of it, well, I know a lot of it has to do with, the gut flora and all that, which is exactly what you talk about in your book. So I definitely want to learn more about what you have to say about, how all of that is intermingled.
But to finish answering your question,
yes.
it was between all I had to do was remove sweet potatoes to be on keto. That's how I ended up on keto. So I do this food elimination diet. I love sweet potatoes. Those are definitely what I'm going to eat. And then the beets, whatever was the third option, we're going to do that with the beets.
So the beets are going to Sherlock, and actually beets are high in sugar, but they have a lot of antioxidants, so people do use them sparingly in dog food. So I think that's a good idea.
Beet fiber is actually a very controversial ingredient in dog food, and it shouldn't be. I did the research on this. Like I went through all the NIH studies looking at like the effects of beet fiber on dogs, and it's basically just positive benefits. It's all like all the benefits you want to get out of fiber. There's no negative side effect. Like, I feel like one of the really odd places, because we're a natural pet food company, I'm always going to promote natural pet food over all other options, but when you think about something like beet fiber, like humans don't really eat it. I think a lot of pet parents look at it as something maybe added to the food, that it's like, okay, well, you're just taking human byproduct and like putting that in pet food, but that's also upcycling. So, to me, as long as it's good for dogs, like we should feed it to them. And that's one of those ingredients that across all studies that I've seen has been really beneficial. So yeah, Sherlock gets the beets.
Kale, spinach, and arugula. Which one are you eating? Which one is going to Sherlock, and which one is going in the trash?
I'm eating arugula. You
did that last time.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the only healthy one you mentioned. And then spinach is very high in oxalates. So I really try to limit my spinach consumption, especially as someone whose parents are like have had kidney stones. I really try. Actually, two of my I have these customer calls I'll do. I've opened up like some of my schedule to chat with pet parents, and both of my calls that I had today with pet parents were people whose dogs are having these kidney stones. And just like a tip to pet parents, if your dog is having that, first, like, do not feed your dog the prescription diet that the diet that your vet is recommending you. If it's like a dry kibble to start, like it's just look at the first 3 ingredients on it. It's like one of them's probably wheat, and it shouldn't be. But in addition to that, what you can actually do is look at like what do they add to those dog foods to make them more beneficial. And like really all you need to do is supplement your dog's diet with potassium citrate. So anyway.
How do we get potassium citrate in our food, in our dog's food?
I'm actually looking for a new brand, but I just go on Amazon and I buy it in powder form currently from Bulk Supplements. I've heard that there may be better brands out there in terms of quality. So that's like the only thing. I don't necessarily have like the brand that I recommend, but that's the brand I currently use. And if you just need to make sure that you're using the citrate form of potassium. That's the one that actually breaks up kidney stones. Like literally it like breaks up kidney stones. And this is shown in studies too. So it's very cool stuff. They do put it in those prescription dog foods, but you don't need to like destroy your dog's microbiome and like cause a bunch of inflammation. Like I was looking at one of those diets today and it's like canola oil. And the first 3 ingredients, one of them was wheat, one of them was corn. It's just like, why isn't meat in there? So that's a whole thing to talk about, but you can supplement your dog's diet without switching to kibble is my point. So we're definitely not going to be eating the spinach, and then the kale is even worse. Like the kale is like trash. That one is very high in lectins, and so basically both the spinach and you got to be careful with plants. I do eat a lot of plants. I currently eat salads for lunch every day. But I would say that plants are always trying to kill us. And so you really want to pay attention to which ones are lower in lectins, which ones are lower in anti-nutrients. That's one of the things that I've really taken into account with our next dog food that we're about to launch. That one's going to be a grain-free dog food. So now we'll have a grain-inclusive food, and we'll also have a grain-free food. It's also like, over the last, 3 years, I've learned so much more about dog nutrition than I even knew when I started the brand. And we're on V2 of all of our recipes. Like we're always making improvements. But with this next one, it's me kind of taking everything I've learned, really trying to avoid anything I know might have lectins or anti-nutrients. And so it's really going to be an awesome food. It's also going to be a little bit cheaper, still air dried, but a little bit cheaper than Perfect Kibble. Perfect Kibble, despite the name, is an air-dried dog food that we have, non-GMO, all these Cocomega super fats, no seed oils. Like we already get like pretty serious about it, but now we'll have a good array.
I need to take a break right now. We need to listen to our sponsors. Let's listen to them. And then when we come back, I want to break down the seed oil controversy, because I mean, even in like mom groups, I'm seeing like seed oils, and now I'm panicked. So I need you to break it down because I trust you, and I know you're going to lead me in the right direction. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with Jaron Lukas of yumwoof. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arada, and today I'm having a really impressive and really informative conversation with Jaron Lukas, whom I expected no less of, because he's been here before and he has always taught me so much. He is one of the founders of Yumwoof, natural dog food, and he is also the author of the new book. It's called The Canine Cocomega Effect. And so right now, I want to play a quick game with you. Jaron, I'm going to give you 1 minute and you're going to tell me all the dangers of seed oil. Are you ready to play?
Let's do this.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Seed oils are destroying your dog's health. They are high in inflammatory omega-6s, and that's the key thing to remember here. It's not just that people are saying, like, in a woo-woo way that these are inflammatory. Like, they literally activate the production of inflammatory molecules, as I mentioned earlier, such as PGE2 and cytokines. And so these are things, and there's actually a chart in my book where I like break all of this down and how omega-3s inhibit that pathway of inflammation at different points in its formation. And so, you know, seed oils are just bad. They are very chemically processed in some cases, canola oil being the worst. Like, canola oil is made through a 12-step process. I've started using this video showing the sludge that is produced to actually produce canola oil. It's like one of the earlier phases of it, but it's just like a black sludge. You know, I mean, it's like ultimately we just need to use some common sense in our dog's diet. And there's enough research out there to show that omega-3s are really beneficial. If omega-3s and omega-6s work at opposite ends of the spectrum of inflammation, then we probably want to have more omega-3s. Fish oil, for anyone who's bought it before, is like not the cheapest thing in the world. Right. So that's why a lot of dog food companies don't include it. And but you know, if you are concerned about, you know, your dog living as long as possible and you really want to make sure that, you know, you're doing everything you can as a pet parent to have them with you for more years, the best thing you can do is feed them more omega-3s. There are many types you can choose from, but as long as it's like wild caught, you're good. And because in farm raised stuff, they actually put a lot of chemicals into the tanks that they're grown in. And then simply don't feed your dog seed oils. Like, there are plenty of options out there that don't include it, that are AAFCO complete and balanced. And so, like, you can just safely assume that, like, the company is kind of taking the cheaper way out. Like, yes, all brands need to kind of like make some sort of profit in order to operate, but like, what's most important is what you're putting in your dog's body. And so, like, pay a little more, pay 10% more, just like, don't get dog food with seed oils in it.
Bravo! That was 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but I let you speak because it was so valuable. Like, that was exactly what I wanted to hear. So,
I have a lot to say on the topic.
I know. So am I. I'm a big talker too, so I never stop people when they go over a minute. A minute's not long enough most of the time. Okay, so tell me about your book and what inspired you to write it. Because last time we spoke, there was no book on the horizon that I know of.
Yeah, last year I really wanted to put my thoughts down into a book format that explained a lot of what I had learned and really helped people understand what Yumwoof stands for, because there's so many dog food brands out there and they all frankly say the same thing. And that's something that really pushed me to start to think about, like, why is Yumwoof different? What do we stand for? And how are we making people's lives better and ultimately having a greater impact? And we're just really starting that. But it is something that I am personally thinking about every day, like really trying to more and more define that mission of how we can create a bigger impact. And so one of the ways that I felt I could do this was by writing a book about how we are seeing as a company and how 162 clinical studies support certain fats, and some very recent research that's been done over the last 3 years, especially showing this Cocomega effect, as I have entitled it. And fortunately, like I said, Hill's Pet Nutrition has a great research department. So they have done some really groundbreaking studies on this topic. And so I've really tried to summarize that and then further support it with additional research. And then also I'd say one of the additional breakthroughs, I almost thought about calling it like Cocomega Plus or something like that, because adding fiber to this whole mix of coconut oil and omega-3s from especially fish oil, when you add fiber to it, it just boosts it even more. So you have this trifecta effect that we've discovered. And I wanted to really help people understand it. I wanted to make it more than just like me talking for 30 seconds and like, you have to believe me. So
right.
I can't tell you, I'm so happy this book is out. Not only because I'm so sick of writing it. I mean, we're talking like 8 hours a day for many, many months, just like going deep into research after research studies. And over the last 3 years, I have actually gone through 3,000 clinical studies on nutrition in general.
Wow.
So this is something that I feel like I've built up some credibility in this.
Yeah.
And I'm really just trying to summarize what the data says. And so that's the basis of the book. And what I hope people get out of it is a very tangible and actionable way to understand how to keep your dog healthy for longer. Fats are very important. Proteins are often a source of many allergies.
Yes.
And so proteins are very important, but they're not something that's usually like anti-inflammatory. Fats are very interesting because it is through fats that we can have a lot of these anti-inflammatory benefits on dogs. And so when we understand what particular types of fats we can feed them, what types actually cause more inflammation, seed oils, when we understand this whole array, that's when like you can start to add 2, 3 or more years to your dog's life. And so fats are very important. That's definitely a big takeaway.
Well, I read the blurb of your book, and there's a correlation between the Cocomega and microbiome. What is it?
The Cocomega superfats directly improve microbiome diversity. And microbiome diversity is the key metric looked at across all microbiome research that's correlated with longevity. So when we're thinking about just a way to simplify a metric showing is our dog likely to live longer based on whatever we're feeding them, microbiome diversity is what you want to pay attention to. And so what I show in the book is how combining coconut oil and with the right amount of omega-3s, and there are different types of omega-3s, so you want to combine the right types as well. I go into that. When they're combined, you can actually increase your dog's microbiome diversity. Hence, they're more likely to live longer. But the other benefit comes down into it reduces inflammation. So, inflammation really does tend to start in the gut microbiome. If you, whoever is listening to this, your dog currently has been having either allergies, especially environmental allergies, or they have like all sorts of gastrointestinal issues, their gut microbiome is definitely messed up. And if you're feeding them dry kibble, there's absolutely no question that not only is their microbiome messed up and isn't very diverse, but most likely there's this mucus that lines the intestinal walls. So the microbiome is in the intestines. It's a big part of it. So there's this mucus layer, but when that mucus layer through inflammation gets withered away, that's when things get really bad. That's when just things go haywire. And so if we can find ways to rebuild that up, one of the best ways to do that is through superfats, as I've called them. And so superfats are this class of anti-inflammatory fats that can help, first just stop causing damage. I cannot stress enough that the seed oils are causing this damage. Anyone whose dog and is listening to this and, you're having these issues, see if seed oils are on your dog's label. Just start there.
Yeah.
And, you can repair the damage through fiber and Cocomega superfats. And I count fiber to be a fat because when your dog eats it, it is converted into fatty acid. So it actually becomes a fat.
Amazing. Okay, so how can my audience learn more about you? Where are we following you to learn all of this information? You are truly such a pleasure to have on the show because I love learning from you. So tell us.
Thank you so much. I love it too. It's always fun. You can find me on Instagram at Jaron Lukas. That's Lukas with a K, Jaron spelled the normal way. And my company's Yumwoof. Just go to yumwoof.com and grab my book on Amazon. It's in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle ebook. So
I want a signed copy. I want a signed copy. How do I get a signed copy?
I can't believe I haven't sent you one. So
please, I only want a signed copy. We're buddies as far as I'm concerned. I'm not ordering off Amazon. I want a signed. I'm happy to pay, but I want a signed
I just ordered like 250 copies to my house. Okay, so perfect. I'm going to be sending you a signed copy. That's sounds great. Why I made these orders. So
sounds amazing. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I know I'm going to learn so much. And I have a child actually, and I'll say this very quickly, who has potentially ADHD. And we just started supplementing omega-3s and like a very specific balance of EPAs and DHAs. And the improvement has been so marked that my husband and I are mind blown that just one supplement off Amazon could really improve just like his quality of life, his school experience, his teacher's experience, my experience as a parent. So I'm so excited that you delved into this topic because omega-3s are really and the microbiome are truly affecting so many, not just our pets, our people and our children and future generations. So thank you for all you do. I want to propose a toast to this awesome conversation and your water sommelier, whatever his name was. What's his name again?
It's Martin. Martin Reese I'm sorry, Reese. Martin. I wish I remembered your last name right now. But you're my water sommelier and I appreciate everything you do. And I'm sorry for drinking liquid death.
And you are my Cocomega sommelier. So thank you, Jaron, for once again being my guest. Cheers.
Yeah, my biggest regret is not thinking to come with a shot of Cocomega, just like coconut oil and cod liver oil. So I'm gonna do that next time.
Next time. You have one of those in Houston for me. And for
great. I'll be there this weekend. Yeah. Cheers. Cheers to Cocomega. Cheers to all of your dogs. Cheers to your health.
Thank you so much. I also want to propose a toast to our executive producer, Mark Winter. Thank you, Mark. And to our audience for joining us for these awesome conversations. Here's to a life covered in pet hair because there's no better way to live. Cheers. And I also want to thank you, Jaron, for donating to the Texas Pet Sitters Conference. We had such a great time. I was able to promote these products like yours that I'm so passionate about. I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for donating 5 bags of your perfect kibble. So generous. And I know everybody there was so excited because pet sitters specifically sometimes have to zhuzh up food to get dogs to eat it because, maybe they're like out of sorts. They're not feeling so comfortable because their pet parents are traveling. So it's like the perfect food topper, the perfect surprise. They can even use it as treats. So thank you so much for donating to our cause.
It's my absolute pleasure.
If you want to learn more about Covered in Pet Hair, please visit coveredinpethair.com or petliferadio.com. Please rate this podcast on all of your podcasting platforms and subscribe and like on YouTube, please. It really helps diffuse this information to all the pet lovers out there, the boozy pet lovers that are my audience and my people. So cheers. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.